Yeah. Yes. I love my cones. I love those cones so much. I'm telling you right now, every game in the USA, every game that's ever been a game, should always have a save area that heals you completely. Just please don't be a jerk about it. Just heal me completely. That's all I ask. Please and thank you. Because I hate Final Fantasy and its stupid taxation on MP and just being like, oh yeah, these are all these spells and summons that you can use, but it takes a certain amount of things like that, and you can only heal them at ends, like get them back that way. And if you want MP or SP, well, summon points, I guess, you have to go ahead and do this and that in order to get them. Oh jeez. I'm always annoyed by it. 2 different eggs. Alright then. Alright, Gondowin. You know what to do. Defend yourself. And everybody else, you can do all your nice little bits and pieces. But yeah, Final Fantasy, I really dislike the whole entire... Like, they're just so stingy with their MP, and I get so annoyed by it. And with Grandia, I feel like I could use all these spells and everything, and I won't get punished for it. I'm rewarded for it. I'm rewarded for using spells. And that's all I want from an RPG, just in general. Let me use something and not get punished for it. Please. I understand that it costs points and mana or whatever, but I mean, at least Grandia has all these parts where it's like, you'll never actually run out of it, so go ahead and use it. Like, I'm not paranoid to use things, like I would be with any other, like, game out there. Like, even in Pokemon it gets a bit that way, but it's not nearly as bad as Final Fantasy, or Dragon Quest even. Dragon Quest gets that way a lot. Like, I don't use debuffs at all in Dragon Quest unless it's a big boss fight. And even then, debuffs don't even matter. By the way, the game likes to crash a lot here when you play the PS2. Okay. Come on. Don't overuse Gondowin, you'll barely gain a level. Yep, I just been defending with him. Everybody take a shot! But, like, I don't mind playing Final Fantasy. I love Dragon Quest itself, but it's just one of those things where just I like using spells.
Please protect
I do. I like it when the game lets me be as busted as possible when it comes to their battle system. I don't mean the standard like press A consistently, because I'll do that in Final Fantasy and I won't have fun with the actual battle system until I go to a boss fight. And boss fights always a treat in any Final Fantasy game that I've seen so far. I've never really been dull with one. They're always there for like some sort of like practicalness and whatnot, but Grandia really feels like it's something that it's like, hey, you know, you can use all the spells and combos and everything that you want, and you'll be able to use them, and that's gonna be pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, I think it is.
Here goes the boom!
I think Gondowin is level 1 million. Debuffs are very useful in Grandia. They definitely seem that way to me, just not everyone has them is all the thing that is to it. Which is fine. Do I have... Okay, so combo... There we go. Should probably have him with digging.
Yeah.
And digging helps a lot too, or should I say defense loss since there's a debuff, yeah. But buffs and debuffs work, general work. Yeah, I really do like that a lot. Like, another good example of that is South Park Stick of Truth, oddly enough. Debuffs work so well there, and it's like, I could use it on every single boss, please and thank you. And why doesn't Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest especially, because Dragon Quest pulls the most bull out of it all. Final Fantasy just be like, oh, you can't use this, and this spell. for a boss, but there's certain things that you can use, and you defeat bosses automatically. Like the train boss, you can just use a Phoenix Down and it automatically dies. That's really, really, really cool. I got ambushed again. Been using the Fire Whip, it's so much SP. It's so much. Elite Cap. They look so weird. I just looked at them right now. Oh wow, they Shrek me up bad. They are Shrekking me up bad. Oh jeez. Alright. I need to actually do a thing. Tremor works. Tremor will work. And Justin, you can do a thing. Who's the closest? The one that's attacking, okay. And then Gonna win, you could actually use digging, so people are a little better off. How to say? What was my point being again? Oh yeah, debuffs. That's what it was. Dragon Quest, legit. Like, you'll debuff the boss and you'll have about 3 turns of them being debuffed. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, they'll be like, oh, it used this attack. All your buffs are gone. All its debuffs are gone. And it's like, what? That's, like, that is the stupidest thing ever. And I hate it. I've always hated that about Dragon Quest, but honestly, that's just the way the battle system is. And you can bust up Dragon Quest in different ways, so I don't really mind it too much, because there's other ways to do it. But it's very clear that debuffs are not an option in that game, and it's just, like, why have it if it's not really an option, you know? Like, you're just kind of setting me up to fail. But Final Fantasy just, it annoys me, because a lot of the times spells just won't work. And it's not bad in the sense that it's bull, but rather just kind of like, why give it to me again, you know? It's not the meanness that is like Dragon Quest, because Dragon Quest, you can spend like 5 or 6 or 7 turns. Like, nothing works. Final Fantasy at least gives you the decency to be like, yeah, it's not gonna work. Sorry about that. So it's like, okay, I guess that doesn't work. And certain things do work for certain bosses in Final Fantasy. So that's pretty cool. You know, whatever. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. And we'll go defense loss, yeah? Dang, I remember I hated Typhoon Tower. Oh wow. I really don't, I'm not minding it so far. Honestly, it feels like the battles are finally getting to a good place. So where I could actually die by the same time. Not really. Yeah, the last boss in Dragon Quest V is just fighting to keep us up, like, keeps clearing them. Yeah, that's really annoying and I hate it. I hate that so much. And it's like, there's easily better ways to make a boss fight different and, like, more challenging. Like the Chaos fight, I'm not sure if it had debuffs and rebuffs about that. Like, I don't outright remember. I think it's just a matter of, like, not dying. I think that was the big thing with the first Final Fantasy last boss fight, the Chaos. Because, like, if you died, all your buffs are gone, and you had to rebuff everybody, and, like, the only way to live was by buffing everybody up. Like, at least I felt that way. Ta-da. Oh, dude, you gotta love that healing. It makes that feeling. Okay. Cover. So let's keep going this way. There's clearly something around here. Oh, what the heck? All that loot! I want to go that way. But I don't necessarily trust those things that are right there. What's this? This is something charm. What does it do? Gives resistance to confusion. I get discard an item that's like that, I guess. I don't need antidotes. I don't need them. This is a fact that I've established a long time ago. Did you know? Okay. The heck? Oh, those are stairs. Okay. That is weird. Okay, at least it shows. That's pretty cool. Let's go, buddy. KS in Final Fantasy 1, I just have to hope he doesn't cure himself back to full. You don't need to carry all that weed, especially not the 35 HP one. Well, how will I be tank enough? You don't understand me, Fwibby. You don't understand how tank you need to be in order to stream. You have to be the tankest.
You'll never get away.
Yeah, but I actually legit like Final Fantasy 1 a lot. I love Final Fantasy 2 for what it is. And there's no reason why I should love Final Fantasy 2 for what it is. But the one thing I do have to say that a lot of people really don't give it respect for is that it legitimately had a good story. Like, legit, it did. It had a good story. A lot of people don't give it that credit because it's kind of the overlooked Final Fantasy because its battle system is weird and in general it just kind of doesn't resonate as well. But like, it had like the first few plot twists in a video game, and like the actual final boss is pretty intimidating. I don't mean in the sense that he is like hard, because I don't think he actually is hard. More so the fact that he his accomplishments is killing God and Satan and ruling both realms. That's his accomplishment, like straight up, and it's like, whoa! So he becomes king of heaven and hell. Let's rock. Like, that's awesome to me.
Please protect us.
The evil empire tries to take over the world, and you play as members of the resistance story. Well, it's not that. It starts out that way, Fwibby. That's the thing. That's the reason why I was like, okay, whatever. But then there's like a few plot twists that make it a little bit different, and then turns out evil dude wasn't really in the whole entire empire business, and you kill him or something, and then he goes to both heaven and hell, which again, I don't like. His soul got split in two or some jazz like that. They explain it, and he takes over both places. That's what happens. Oh, spoilers, by the way. Like, what do you do? I'm good at not spoiling things. Did I mention? Nah, I'm terrible at spoiling things. I really am. And because I don't care on the other person's behalf whatsoever. I don't mean that in a mean way, just in like, I tend to not care about spoilers. So I don't treat them as the sacred thing that everyone else does. Like, no, you mustn't, for you mustn't, but there are times when I'm like, I don't want to be spoiled, and Grandia is definitely one of those things. Like, most definitely. Still, the battle system is such a turnoff. For Final Fantasy 2, for a lot of people it is. For me, no, it's not. It's not. It's not for me. In all honesty, Final Fantasy 2 is the first thing that was like Grandia. Before Grandia happened. And I like it for that. Because I got to customize the characters that I wanted to do. And I don't like having my women as martial artists and just like punking people with their fists. I love it so much. It's one of my favorite tropes. I just oh, dude. I don't know what it is, dude. I love muscle bound girls, and girls that know how to kick ass and things like that. But with like a gun or like an arrow or something like that, just kind of like, no, I want to see them beating other people up and stuff. I'm like, I'm not even into that kind of thing. Like, I know some people are, which is like weird, and sometimes it's like a BDSM thing or whatever, but I like it to where my girls, like, they have like abs, and they like know karate or jiu-jitsu or whatever, and they're just like, yeah, I could deck you, whatever. I don't give a frack. And it's cool to me. And it's time to abuse that heel. Got that feel. Really only one? Alright then, whatever. So I'm going up this one now. I stopped paying attention when it got weird. Oh yeah, yeah, it did get weird. Final Fantasy 2 gets weird. Just so you know. Hashtag spoiler. Like in Final Fantasy 4, when you go see some dwarves in hell and then ride a giant whale to the moon. You know what? Now that you say it that way, in all honesty, like, wow. Final Fantasy does get pretty weird. Like, it makes sense in context, but wow, is that a sentence running all the way through. Final Fantasy 2, you can build your characters any way you want, unless you don't want to force them into specific roles. Yeah, most definitely. Final Fantasy 2 is very mean about that. It's like, you better have them on very specific rules from the start, otherwise they are not going to be good. And, yep. On top of that, Final Fantasy 2 has a stupid plot twist where it's like, that ultimate spell that you're meaning to get and, like, use for people, guess what? It's not good. Like, ever, unless you used, like, all the spells that you've ever used entirely. And, like, we're not talking about, like 1 or 2 or 3 spells that you use for, like, black magic. We're talking every single spell has to be up to a certain level, and it will attribute itself to this big spell that gets its power from the wizard knowing all these spells and whatnot. Just in general, it's like this weird plot twist that doesn't really make sense, and just use a blood lance. Just use a blood lance, please. It's just easier that way. Blood lance for life. Oh, that's Sue. Okay, Sue, why don't you combo? I love Final Fantasy 2 World's Map thing. Oh, that's good. I like Final Fantasy 2's world map in general. Well, I really do honestly feel like Final Fantasy 2 does not get nearly as much respect as it deserves, as Mr. Dangerfield says. I think Final Fantasy 2 world map theme and Nobu Uematsu's best piece. I can definitely see that. I kind of want to play Final Fantasy 2 again. Like, I won't lie, I kind of do. Like, I want to play it more than I want to play Final Fantasy 6, which is, like, weird, right? It's like, why? Why? Like, a lot of people like it. Not Fwibby. Fwibby is mean. He's mean. He already knows. He's already like, nah, Final Fantasy 6. But I like it. I do like Final Fantasy 6, but I think what turned me off of Final Fantasy 6, like, legit, there's this one tower where you can only use magic. Only use magic. And you have to climb up and down the tower for some stupid reason. And for some reason, whenever I started climbing down, because, you know, you have to beat a big old boss and then you have to go back down, I'd always die. And this happened like 3 or 4 times. Where I legit, like, I did all the stress that I was supposed to do. Supposed to give people, like, rage and whatnot, and give the boss rage. And I really should have him do something, huh, instead of rambling. And do all these things just to, like, be like, I can abuse it, you know? But it didn't happen, and I got so mad at it that I quit that game for like a year or something. And it got so annoying to me, and it just left a bad taste in my mouth. But, like, I like all the other dungeons. I do, I really do. But it's just... And you know what, like, I love the most about that game is honestly the second act, in which you have to get everybody back. Because that is honestly one of my favorite things to see in a story arc. It's just like everyone comes back and they meet each other and they just like have this heartfelt reunion of like they're all doing something else and such, and just I like One Piece too. Because One Piece has something similar. And they consistently do this whole entire level theming, and that's what One Piece does. Like, One Piece has its own formula to itself, where it will just talk about one person's backstory, then talk about how everyone else reacts to it, and then it will get to its final act where everyone's facing down everybody else, and it's just like a big ol' like weird sort of like level develop thing that's happening with that. And I I love those little tropes. I don't know why I love them so much, but I do ever so much. Let's follow you, Justin.
Please
What was
protect
your
us.
favorite cave in Final Fantasy VI? Mine was the 36. A lot of them did take places in caves, didn't it? Now that I think about it, now that I remember, oh my god, Final Fantasy VI did not have a very imaginative dungeons. It didn't. Oh wow. Jeez. But honestly, Final Fantasy V was not that great either. Like honestly, you know what? The one thing that holds up Final Fantasy V is legitimately its battle system. That is legit. The actual gameplay in an RPG, in a JRPG, in a Square Enix JRPG, Final Fantasy, the gameplay is the most important aspect that people like and people will replay it over. Which is like, well, yeah, duh. Everyone should like that, right? But I don't. Like, I went into it for the story and whatnot, and it's like the weirdest thing because like it's straight up that's the reason why job system, the battle system, the way everything works and everything. I mean, I get why people like Final Fantasy V. If anything, I'm in the wrong for not liking Final Fantasy V. But you get into this weird groove of just like story is the most important thing for like a JRPG, and no, not always true. But it really does help. And that's not to like be like bashing Final Fantasy V's story in the sense that, you know, their characters suck too. No, their characters are pretty good. By and large, a lot of the characters in that are pretty good, but the villain falls flat, the story itself falls flat, and then it gets really convoluted at the end, and it just doesn't make sense whatsoever by the end, where the villain turns into an evil tree. I mean, like, they explain it, but, like, honestly, no one was paying attention, and just the teacher looks at the whole entire class like, did anybody do the homework? And then the whole entire class is like, They wouldn't have that time where their teacher got mad at the whole entire class for not doing the homework. Because that's happened to me many a time.
Here goes.
I wonder how you feel about 9. 9, I probably would love it, in all honesty. I probably would love 9. But,
Please
like,
protect us.
Final Fantasy is a very different series. Like, I have a different love for that series compared to every single series out there in the entire world. Because I didn't get into it the way that other people got into it. I got into it differently. I had different expectations for it wholeheartedly, and it's not a series that I can outright judge. Not in terms of like being bad, but in terms of like growing up, I suppose. Because like, I don't have nostalgia for it. I don't have the ability to just be like, I replay this over and over again. Like, no, I play this to beat it, and then I like certain things the way I like certain things. And I suppose I'm going through it just because I like a one-time through type dealing, I guess, but I just have a different view on Final Fantasy than anything else. That's essentially what it comes down to, honestly. But I feel like I guess everyone feels like they have the most objective point of view when you think about it. But I like to think that I do. I like to think that I do. I will admit there's certain biases that I have for certain series, though. Dragon Quest is one of them. Dragon Quest, I can't outright say why that series is so good, because in all honesty, it should not be good. It shouldn't. It just shouldn't be good. But it is. And I don't get it. I don't get why it is. I don't get why I love it so much. But I do. It's like popcorn to me. Popcorn candy that I can just take a bite, and then I'll watch a TV show and everything, and I have a nice reminiscence of watching Supernatural with it. And Grandia, for some reason, or any RPG, honestly, gets me on a rant about other RPGs. Because I start talking about it, and I'm like, huh, this reminds me of this, that reminds me of that. When really, I should be focusing on, you know, what's going on here, right?